coming in today.
That's okay.
So just so everyone knows online, welcome to Hepatitis Queensland. We're having a chat with Jo today about your experiences.
Hi everyone.
So, first question then, how long ago is it since you were first diagnosed with Hep C?
I was trying to work this out before, but diagnosed, I think it was either 92 or 93 when I was living in Melbourne.
When you lived in Melbourne?
I was living in Melbourne, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So did you go straight for trying treatment when you were diagnosed, or was there a bit of a period where you were...
No, there was a long period of time before I had my first lot of treatment. Quite a number of years actually, and I don't think they knew about any sort of treatment when I was diagnosed. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, they didn't know much about hepatitis C at that stage.
Yeah, it's only been 50 years since they even realised viral hepatitis was a thing. So
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
It's very, very new. So how were the old treatments for you? How did you find those?
They were pretty much horrific, to put it in one word. But what I do need to say to people is that I tried the 3 old ones. The first lot was interferon, where you had an injection every day. And I think I was on that for, I think it was 6 months, around about that, even though I was supposed to be 12 months because of my genotype. And then I was on interferon and ribavirin, but that was still daily injections, and up to 6 tablets a day as well. And I think I only lasted on that for 3 months, but I was as sick as. And then they brought in pegylated interferon, but still ribavirin as well. But at least the injections went to weekly as opposed to daily. So that made it a little better, but I had so many side effects, and some people's were worse than mine, and yet I was pretty bad. I actually couldn't work. My partner at the time, especially with my last one, supported me financially, and it was pretty full.
Hard going.
Yeah, very hard going.
Okay. So when did you start the new treatments?
I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was around August or September last year.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2016.
How did you find those by comparison?
There's really no comparison. I mean, firstly because it was only for 12 weeks.
Drastically different to 3 to 6 months?
Yes. Well, also the fact that 12 months I did the last one.
Of course.
Yeah. Because of my genotype. So 12 weeks with a daily tablet, 1 tablet, as opposed to all the other things that you had to have with the old treatments.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How did I find it? Did I have any side effects? Is that...
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. But nothing major, really. And like I said before, there's no comparison to, even with the side effects. It was probably headaches were the ones, but for the most part, they were handleable with Panadol. Nothing stronger than Panadol, so that was pretty good.
Quite happy then?
Very happy.
So at the end of those 12 weeks, were you cleared of Hep C?
Yes. Well, no, not at the end of the 12 weeks of treatment. Then you have to wait 12 weeks post-treatment to get your final bloods. So, I mean, that needs to be made really clear to people that you have that. And periodically through that, they write everything down for you. You have blood tests, periodically. So then you wait 12 weeks post, and then you have your final blood tests.
Okay.
And then you usually have to wait a few days again before you actually get the results.
Yeah,
so,
not instant.
yeah, and amazing.
I was going to say, how did that feel?
Oh, well, I'm a transport driver, and I have no problems in saying I'm a bus driver, but I happened to be driving a bus, and I was stopped, and I got the results over the phone because they tried to ring me but they couldn't get me, and so they sent a text to me, and when it was questioned later, she said, you know, no, if I was you, I would have wanted to have known. So I thought I'd text you. And when I got the results, I actually was crying. And I've had the hepatitis C for 36 years. And I had, as I said before, tried all those other treatments and nothing worked. Went through all the struggles that one goes through with that sort of stuff. I have supported so many other people, having worked here in the past for a very, very long time, and watched them clear, even on some of the old treatments. Well, probably only the old treatments when they cleared, because I wasn't working here when the new ones came. So to get a result like that, to be honest with you, I didn't think I would. I thought, oh, here we go again, it'll be something else. And even though I'd heard the percentage rates were really, really high, you know. In fact, I heard that out of 700 people that the Royal Brisbane Hospital have treated, 5 came back and that's a really good percentage. But because I'd had all those other knockbacks and so long, anyway, it was actually a passenger that suggested I pull over and ring my mother and tell her the good news. Yeah. And the other passengers, only about 5 on, they all agreed. So I rang my mother and told her, and she was crying, and yeah, it was great.
Very emotional day.
Yeah, it was an incredibly emotional day. In fact, the old guy that suggested I ring my mother suggested I get to the end and then decide to go home. Yeah. Of that particular run. Can't do that. But anyway.
But yeah, good idea. So since then, how has your life changed, or?
To be honest with you, I haven't had a noticeable physical change, but an emotional change, and it sort of waxes and wanes with the emotions, because I've lived with it for so long, and I was fairly healthy, you know, because I don't drink alcohol, and I haven't done, I can't even tell you the last time I drank alcohol, so it's over 20 something years ago. And so that has helped, you know, and because it is quite damaging to your liver, alcohol. In fact, I strongly suggest if you've got Hep C, you don't drink any hepatitis, drink alcohol. Yeah. So in terms of that, I was relatively healthy, so I didn't feel it a lot in the latter stages. You know, the treatment was what I felt the most, the old treatment, and then earlier on, I vaguely remember getting pains in my liver, and I was always worried that I might have been cirrhotic as well, but it came back that I wasn't, and I ended up having to have a biopsy again before I had this new treatment, and that's only because the FibroScan didn't work on me. Okay. There's a certain percentage where it doesn't work, and I happen to be one of them. You know, hence the reason why I didn't think I'd get the cure. Yeah. You know, so it's like, oh yeah, you know.
Past experience.
But yeah, I did. So, but emotionally, like I said, waxes and wanes, but it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, one of the first thoughts I had, and you certainly don't suggest this, I wanted to have a blood party. Not that I suggest that to anyone, but, you know, it's because it was clean, you know what I mean? So it was really weird. And another friend said, oh, let's go out, now you haven't got it, we can go out and get drunk. But I don't drink alcohol, so just because this I'm cleared doesn't mean that I'm going to revert back to, you know, those sort of things. It's just not good for you. That's my own personal opinion. So, but yeah, that's how it's changed.
Okay, wonderful. So what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about treatment?
I really suggest you try it. And if you don't know where to go, there are so many different places now. You know, when it first came out, it was, you know, only the liver clinics and things like that, but now you can go to your GP and you can do all that sort of stuff in pharmacies. And I really, if you don't know where they are, I will always strongly recommend you ring Hepatitis Queensland. Ring Hepatitis Queensland, they will have a list, and if they don't have something, they will find it for you. It's always been like that. You know, this is an incredibly good service, always has been and always will be.
Any other final thoughts that you want to share? Anything
No,
you want to know?
I just wanted to say that the treatment that I particularly had was Harvoni.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one that I had, but I don't know if there are other names or anything like that. But again, ring Hepatitis Queensland. Any other thoughts? Give it a whirl, you know, really, what have you got to lose? I really don't recommend that people do the detoxing of the livers and all that sort of stuff. You know, speak to someone that is fairly open-minded with the sorts of things that you can put into your body, you know, and that's why I suggest Hepatitis Queensland as well, you know, you guys, because I've always found that the people that are here are fairly open-minded with that sort of stuff, and they're really not going to crap to you about, you know, the crap, you know, bullshit to you basically, you know, and they'll tell you like it is. But please, do yourself a favour and give it a go, because I really didn't think it would work for me, and it did.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank
And
you.
for chatting. So if anyone has any more questions about hepatitis or about the new treatments, you can give us a call on 1-800-HEP-ABC or 1-800-437-222. Thank you very much, Joe.
Good luck.